Greetings, sir and sirettes, and welcome back to Stonehearth with me, Lathrix, and of course, welcome back to the glorious, now less laggy, village of Steindorf. So, before we get into what we're going to be doing today, let's discuss how I managed to get rid of the lag, because a lot of people were telling me they were having a very similar issue to myself, and they didn't know what to do about it, and I also had hundreds of comments talking about how to fix it, what they think is wrong, and thank you so much, as a lot of those led me to ideas which ended up fixing the game, so thank you so much for your feedback. It was really helpful from the bottom of my heart. Now, how did I end up fixing it? Well, first of all, I went around destroying all the entities which were on the top here, which some of you weren't aware were on auto-gather already, so the halflings were gathering it, just incredibly slowly, and that did absolutely nothing. That fixed nothing in my game. I even had to end up using the console commands, which I hate using, to destroy the stuff around here by simply doing the destroy command. For those who are wondering how you get this option up, it's holding down control and pressing C, although that can vary depending on what type of keyboard you're using. Then if you want to look at the commands, you simply press help, which was very helpful to me, let me tell you. So I destroyed all those, I destroyed some stuff over there, and it did absolutely nothing. Then I went about selling everything in my inventory, in case my inventory items were causing lag. Didn't help. And then I went about checking everywhere. It turns out three major things were causing the issue. First of all, choke points. I had them everywhere, and halflings do not path well through choke points. The door here, surprisingly, was acting as a choke point, because although it's 4 wide, halflings tend to use the middle of it, and then they can sometimes avoid using it when others are using it, and as soon as I removed both of those doors, so much frame loss went away. It was glorious, but that wasn't it. Secondly, I went over here, and it turns out there was a series of completely glitched out creatures. They were in the tree, and they were in the stone here. This was causing our poor soldiers to constantly path towards them, and then instantly give up because they can't reach it, over and over again, very quickly every second, which was causing an immense amount of lag. So once I destroyed those, once again using the destroy command, a load more lag went away, and everything was looking better. It was almost fixed at that stage. And the third thing was surprising, actually. I went down to the mine to check if everything had been cleared up, and I had a few pieces of ore stuck in the rock. Not there, but somewhere around here. You could just about see it jutting out, and it turns out they were items which had been placed by a halfling whilst mining and had completely glitched out, but all of my miners were trying to get to there still, which of course, once again, caused pathing. The pathing then instantly failed, causing the pathing to reset over and over again. There is a command, thankfully, for this very specific problem, so that was instantly fixed. I then went about making sure to have less choke points by increasing the amount of availability to any area. This includes the top of the tower, in the little cutout here itself, and I'm eventually going to be adding a lovely set of stairs here, which is going to make this look nicer and also be much more accessible to get into the tower. So right now, we have very few problems. It's still not the best, it's still not fantastic, but it's very playable. And so, let's talk about what we're doing today. It is the light of day, and I was hoping to talk about our master plan, but we are already under attack. But thankfully, we now have the turnip shooters back in their rightful place, because it turns out regular turrets don't work well if the enemy aren't on the same level as the turret. They don't shoot up and down very well, because that eats into their maximum range, and their maximum range is incredibly short. So, let's get our regular soldiers out there as well. I love the turnip shooters. Now don't you fall off. Yay, the traps are working! Kind of. The traps are being destroyed! Fantastic. Well done, traps. You did well. Why aren't you firing? Is that out of range for you? Okay, that would be okay if that's out of range. Ooh, or are you aiming at something which was behind a wall? Okay, that's what's happening. Why aren't you firing? The turrets are weird. I think that's the best way of putting it. The turrets are very, very curious. Scare those clerics off. They definitely help though. They don't do all that much damage, but having them there, just constantly firing, does help. And thank you, Engineer, for fixing the amazing traps. And I would like to take this opportunity, I may have already done this before, just to talk about how the clerics work, because there was a bit of misunderstanding, and I think I've explained it very poorly, about why I'm constantly micromanaging the clerics. I think I've already done this before, but I think it bears repeating. So when it comes to the cleric, they have their regular heal, and then they have this, the healing aura. The cleric's presence heals everyone around them periodically, which eventually gets more powerful with a longer range. Of course, this is an additional heal to their regular heal, so having them next to people who are being hurt means they can heal them with the regular heal in addition to the area of effect heal. I am bad at explaining things, but that is the basic explanation. You, stop. Yeah, you can stay there, we're fine. Well, someone's cornered. No, don't get away. Darn it all. Focus on the injured guy instead. Just kill him first. There he goes. And then we're going to hit them with books. Everything is fine. I am tempted to make some ladders on the inside go to the very bottom, just so we can get down easily enough, because right now if I wanted those in the fight, I'd have to go all the way around. Of course, that is keeping them safe, but it's also meaning I can't help out in fights like this. You focus on him only. Scare the cleric off. That is one brave cleric. Is it half health? 1/3 health? Dead? And this is why I need the slowing arrows in this group. Is that one of our archers? No, it's a worker. I was about to say, how did the archer run out? Slowing arrows would help out so much right now. Well, it was a pretty basic fight, sadly. The enemy came to our door, they tried to attack us, they destroyed several of our traps, and then we absolutely gutted them with the power of fire arrows. Although, whilst that was happening, this happened, so now there's a crypt as well. So Group 2, would you mind helping out? That would be really, really useful. All of Group 1 also regroup over there. Fantastic. So whilst they go ahead and do that, let's talk about our plan for today. So what I would like to do is make Steindorf look a little bit better and be a little bit more functional. So I would like to finish off the dining hall, finally. I would like to work on... wow, that's weird. I would like to work on the 2 dormitories, because at the moment they're simply unfinished, and I would like to work a little bit on the kitchen. If we have time after this, I would like to figure out some use for this area over here, because it looks like a huge waste, and work on the keep. Although the keep, I feel like, is one of the last things we will do. We have enemies! And we have arrows. Fear the wrath of our archers. I'm really hoping that the fire effect stacks, because it is surprisingly good. I originally thought it was terrible, but having that little bit of damage over time, even if only occasionally, is really, really helpful. There we are. And we get, ooh, pretty, a stone floor candle holder. That's not terrible, honestly. Okay. Archers, get back to your original position, please. Ah, good, we have the chests up here. So that... non-food. That, non-food. There we are, just to make them stay up there a little bit longer, hopefully. Kind of. Now that the light of day is gracing us with the ability to see things, and we're not under attack for 5 minutes, let's get to work and talk about what we're meant to be doing today. Like 8 or 10 minutes into the video, depending on editing, because that makes sense. So today, all I want to do is get some things in motion. I would like to get all of these items picked up, because I want to redo the dining room. I would like to redo the kitchen, which currently just looks like a giant stone room with various shapes made out of stone inside of it, and I would like to expand and make the dorm area look better. Essentially, all this area should look better. If we have time after that, I would like to think about what we can do in this area, because at the moment I feel like it's going to waste, and then if we do have time, which I doubt we will, I would like to upgrade this area over here, which will eventually be our keep. Let's make the place look nice and pretty before we move over to Alpha 18 when it comes out. Now, I do know that Alpha 18 is compatible with Alpha 17 saves, or at least that's what people have told me, don't hold me to that. But I would like to start a new world because of the quest line. I may have already mentioned that, I'm not sure, because I'm still trying to fix bugs as we go, so it's like a really lengthy amount of times between clips, which can be really disconcerting when it comes to editing and trying to make a video. But that is first world YouTuber problems for you. Okay, so that should get all of those stuff sorted and gone as soon as everyone's finished eating. That was a very weird way to say that sentence. Yay for chickens. I'm also tempted to just expand this to this entire area and just have chickens everywhere. We will be the Chicken Nation. Chickendorf. I mean, it's different. I was going to say chicken in German there, and make it, of course, Chickendorf in the true German wording, but then I remembered how you spell and say chicken in German, and I'm not even going to attempt it. It's one of those words I cannot get right. Just Google it, go to Google Translate, most likely that will give you a pretty good indication of how hard it is to say as a native English speaker. Before the day is completely exhausted, let's start putting down some foundations. So, how are we going to do this? I think for the dining room we should go with this pattern here. It's a little bit on the complex side, so it kind of clashes with a lot of furniture, but it just looks very dining hall-y to me. It just looks very clean and very nice, which is exactly what we're going for. Now, I'm going to be very careful with these because I don't want to put it here just yet, just to make sure the two buildings don't collide when I start putting down foundation in the main hallway, which I might do, just to give it a different texture than the walls, and when I put down foundation in here. We can always come back and make tiny little foundation pieces under the door. Yeah, let's have that like that. Finished editing, build, yes. We're about to get some more wooden logs anyway, so no issue there. And then for this room, our kitchen, I think either that or that. I think this pattern here looks the most kitchen-y. I mean, it looks borderline toilet, but I think kitchen, toilet, same thing, really. Lathric's restaurants. Not the best for hygiene, apparently, according to that last sentence. So let's do this. Don't need to get underneath the items too much, and we can always do that later if we really want to. But for now, let's just do the basics. Okay, finish editing and build, make sure they're not connected, and once again we'll do under the doorways later. And build, my lovelies! Also, chop down trees. There's lots of them. Under attack yet again. Fear the wrath of our mighty turnip throwers. They do so little damage. I really think we are going to have to use the regular turrets and just put them on the bottom. It makes them incredibly vulnerable, but yeah, it's something, I suppose. Well done, archers, as well. You did pretty well. Do you have the special arrows yet? Yes, you do, finally using the spiky arrows. Okay, they still have a healer, so you focus on you instead. I am tempted to just take those archers permanently off there. Daily updates, and we get a new person, fantastic. Probably because one of ours just died. Yeah, kind of missed that, sorry about that. I was too busy looking at floorings and such. I hate... And this is why we need those slow arrows. Okay, guys, move back over here for a second so you all regroup. Because we need that archer to slow down that guy, because otherwise that's going to take forever. For now, though, please focus on the healer. He takes so much damage and everything. Look at your DPS increase. If you were in World of Warcraft, you'd be bragging right now to your team. Now you, annoy him. You, annoy him. Fast forward. Yeah, we need more archers. See, look how much easier this is now he's slowed down. You can hit him without running half a mile. Yeah, what we need is just more DPS. The problem is we've got knights and we have healers and then we have these two archers in this group. I really do think it's about time to just put these archers into this group. Because this doesn't work properly, especially since I can't put down the doors at the moment, since it causes such an ungodly amount of lag. Okay, group 1, please re-add the 2 archers. There we are, massive damage increase. Our poor carpenter is about to be incredibly overworked, so what I want are writing desks, wooden dressers, some more comfy beds. I would also like some leather-bound chests, and, if I can get round to it, perhaps some of the comfy chairs as well. This way we have all the tools to make a very luxurious looking set of bed sections. Sleeping quarters, let's call them sleeping quarters, because I keep on calling them different things, which is a little bit confusing, to be honest, even for me. I'd also like to make a couple more archer's bows, and then a couple more of these for the future. And you may continue. Behold the power of focus fire when you have 3 archers working together. 2 volleys and one of the small mobs dead, let's do the same again. And then finally to him. That was a nice dance you were doing there. Clearly a war dance. It's nice to have the group working together again. I was going to start putting down the beds, but I think I should put down the foundation first. However, I can't decide what type of foundation to use. Originally, I was going to use these lovely blue colours because they're a bit out of the ordinary, it's quite a relaxing colour, and it matches the rugs and stuff we can make. However, they would then really blend with the bed, and that would look, I think, a bit odd. I'm not too sure though, just the fact it's blue is so out of the ordinary. It does kind of scream to me like a carpet colour or something a bit more relaxing, whereas this colour's a bit more common and would definitely contrast. And I think it would contrast a bit too much, so now I don't think I'm certain. But the blue is a bit obviously blue, perhaps the darker blue. If we go with the darker blue, we can then put down this, and yeah, I think that's what we're going to go with. Okay, so let's go with the darker blue. Let's leave it like this, in case we ever put a doorway, and then all of this can be the same foundation as whatever we turn this hallway into. That makes sense to me. I'll wait until I've got all these beds up though, so we can do the foundation on each, before we start putting down the beds. The floor is down, the beds are in, and for the most part, so are the chests. We do have 2 missing at the moment, purely because we have run out of wood whilst we were making them, but at least we've made a lot of the other stuff. So, do I like it how it looks at the moment? I'm not sure. It looks very childish, I'll be honest. It does kind of look like a kid's shared bedroom, but at least it has some style to it. At least it looks different, rather than it just being another stone room with beds in. Of course, this is far less efficient than usual, because now we have only 4 per room, whereas before we had like 8 or 6. But I like it. It's nice and symmetrical, it's very spacious, it's clean looking, and I think it just works. Although, in hindsight, and if I could remove things, which sadly I can't, I think what I would have done is made this so that the doors could be placed here and still kept the stone walls, because as it is right now, we can't really build in this location because you can't build the ladders necessary, which really isn't the best, but I think it's okay, I think it works. Now, do I add another one like this, or do I maybe bend the main pathway, the main hallway, then we could have one coming out this way, one coming out that way, and then another one coming out this way. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure how to do this. Whilst all of this stuff gets placed, and I ponder how I'm going to complete these rooms, let's put down some foundation for the main hallway. And we have 2 ways of doing this in my eyes. We could either go for a more natural stone look, which is just stone with a slightly different shading, or we could go with a much brighter look, which is then, of course, very obvious we have placed this, so it's a very purposeful set of items. And I think we should go with the lighter colour. I think something like perhaps the granite green. It's called green, but it doesn't quite look it in the palette. It looks like a very, very dark cream. And I think that will work out pretty well. I mean, we could potentially do roads. Roads actually increase the speed of the halflings, but that just feels odd, so I think I'll leave it like this. Oh, but saying that, if we do add roads, and it does increase the speed, wouldn't that make so much sense? Yeah, I'm going to try and do roads and see if it works. Same colour. It should dig into the same place. Now, roads, I think, do increase the speed of halflings. At least they used to. Again, that's the problem right now. I am playing with information which is quite dated. Everything I say could have very well been changed since last time I played. And you go there as well. Thank you very much. And let's just go up to the door. We can always change that later. And get here as well. Is that going to look okay? I think it will, especially if I put it in rooms like this. And of course, down the corridors here as well. We could have all of these colour-coded, but I think that would look really weird. So let's leave it like this for now, make it out of stone, and go. The best thing is, as they dig up this stone, they'll get more stone from digging it up than they use for placing down the road. I'm almost certain roads do increase the speed of the halflings after watching them for a while. Yeah, almost certain of it now, so having this as road, definitely worth it, especially since all of our storage is here. Which also means it's very likely we should put down some roads outside, especially near the farm. Ah, that's so close. Just to make everything a little bit more efficient. Are you still making things, Mr. Mason? You are indeed. That's where almost all of our value is coming from, the wall-mounted decorative gargoyle. Which is both incredibly creepy and incredibly cool. And I still don't know if I love or hate these. It's weird. It's very childish, but at least it has a nice style to it. And I'm not too sure about these writing desks. Maybe we should have only one up here. Because this looks so much more spacious because of the lack of the writing desks. Keep the dressers, because these are for each of the beds, but maybe if we move one of these... I'll move this one. Oh, we can't. Never mind, leave it there. I'd rather have it than not have it, but I'm not too sure if I like that positioning. It's a shame this isn't one wider. We have the banners, but we don't have the carpets. There's some throw rugs I really want to make, and I think I have ordered them. Let's make them top priority. A very minor problem has occurred, which is annoying me more than it should. So with this bed, we can see that the dresser is actually a little bit further back than the bed, which is absolutely fine. It rests nicely against this wall, and then we have the decorative throw rug underneath, which all looks fairly contained and very nice. Now with these ones, originally I had them like this, which I think looks a lot neater on this side, because it doesn't protrude so far into the hallway. The problem is then, it's not symmetrical, so then we have the throw rug underneath, which is much smaller looking than on this side, and that annoys me way more than it ever should. But it just does, and it is getting on my nerves, because I don't like either way now. I'm annoyed, is what I'm trying to say. We now have a grand total of 30 halflings, so hello there to the newest member, which is a fairly average member of our little community, which most likely will never do anything but be a worker. But I'm sure she will be a proud worker of Steindorf. And with that, I think I've decided how I'm going to do these drawers, these wooden dressers, because I still want them there, but I really don't like how they constrict the way in, and yes, I am focusing way too much on the bedrooms, because that is the point of this episode, and this is why I tend to avoid it, because I become really obsessive over tiny things. It's silly, really. Now, you can go back there. Then that way we have these two completely finished again. All we need is the throw rugs, and yes, I did notice that some of them were going horizontally, but now they are all going vertically and everything is good. There we are. What I could do is put down a one high wall of slabs here, because you can build at least one high when it's inside, because if you try and build higher, they try and build ladders to build higher than that and it completely bugs out. We could have it one high just to kind of separate this from the hallway, but that would be difficult and look a little bit odd. Also, do we have an extra wooden dresser for no reason there? You can go over here. I think I'm happy with it. I think it's a little bit too cluttered. I definitely think it's too cluttered, but at the same time, it looks cozy. It looks like it has everything you would expect in this type of dwelling, and these little corners are all nice and compact, and now I'm thinking about it. Do you know what would look awesome? Just this in its own room. A tiny room like this, rather than a shared accommodation. Again, something else I can do the next season. We can cut out a little section of the mountain, and just have a little room like this. Because that would be adorable, that would be really cute. So you have a little dresser, you have the throw rug, you have the bed, you have some storage, and then nothing else. Yeah, that would actually work really well. Okay, whilst the carpenter's busy working away at pretty much everything else, let's start work then on the dining room, so that we can say at least 2 things have been finished. I've just thought of a way to make the chef's area a little bit less chaotic. What we can do is make it so all of these chests can only hold raw food, and then have a couple of chests or crates in this area in the dining room, which can only hold cooked food. That way the chef will go into the kitchen, will use the raw food to make cooked food, the cooked food will then be placed out here, as halflings will go for cooked food over raw food if it's available, although they will eat pretty much anything if it is there. That worked better than expected, so already all of these chests are being filled with cooked food, and all of these chests are being filled with only raw food, although some of them are still having items taken out, like the odd copper ore, which apparently was in one of these chests, because who doesn't love some copper in their diet? The 3 bedrooms are now complete, and I've even started to add some lighting to the inside of the mountain, so now, hopefully, when it comes to nighttime, it should look a little bit more alive. I've also noticed that all of these roads are really, really effective. It's massively helped out our carpenter and all of our other professions. It's also massively helped out our miners, being able to get to the storage and then get back to the mine as soon as possible. So definitely a good option rather than using the standard flooring. I kind of wish this was road as well, but I feel like it would look a little bit silly with how fast all the halflings would be going. Now, when it comes to the bedrooms, although they are finished at the moment, and I think they look presentable, I'm still not happy. I feel like they're still too busy, they're still too cluttered, and I will be very likely taking away a lot of the decorative items and replacing it with some other stuff, or perhaps just leaving it empty, because I feel like more space is better than more stuff when it comes to the bedrooms, although I still wish that we had 1 bed per room and made much smaller rooms. We can do that now if we wish, but it will look a little bit odd considering we have the shared sleeping quarters, and then we might have loads of singles. I think that would look a little bit weird, though it depends on how I feel when it comes to actually building that. And sadly we don't get a new person. When it comes to the dining room, it's definitely working really well. We just need to add more. It's just not done yet, but at least it looks very neat at the moment. I feel like we need to do this to the rest of the fortress, then move on to the keep, and then I'll be really, really happy. So thank you so much for watching, but I'm afraid after that ramble, I am all out of time for today's episode. So if you have enjoyed, then of course, likes, favourites, shares, comments, all that good stuff helps out me, helps out the channel, and most importantly, shows that Stonehearth is a series you wish to see continued in the future. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye. We'll see you next time.